Postgame Live, presented by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois.
Well, tough day for the Cubs today. Beaten by the Rockies, who pitched better, hit better, and fielded better. 6-1 your final. Cubs fall to Colorado with Game 1 of a 3-game set. And welcome in to our Blue Cross Blue Shield Cubs Postgame Live. He's Todd Hollandsworth. I'm David Kaplan. Before we get to how this game broke out, the Cubs did not play well today. Here's how the day finished for Holly and I. We sit down here. We're supposed to be up in the upper deck doing the postgame. We thought down here. And then what happened?
Oh, a bird just unloaded on us, people. I mean, I don't know what
Literally,
else to say.
Cubs players are coming from the bullpen, and they point. They go, wasn't us. Right up there.
I snapped around looking. I'm like, who just, spit on us, all over the place. And one of the ushers over there,
all over us.
He just pointed at the sky, and he goes, blame the white birds flying right overhead.
That is how the day went for the Chicago Cubs today. Let's take a look at the pitching recap for today's ball game. And just not a great day for Kyle Hendricks. He wasn't totally locked in. He didn't get pounded. It just didn't go well.
Well, he did get 12 ground ball out, didn't walk anybody, had 5 strikeouts. It wasn't a bad performance from Kyle. But when you factor in the fact that we didn't make plays defensively. We kind of made messes for Kyle to get him out of. And then when he made pitches to get out of those messes, the exact same thing happened. We had some bobbles. We had some errant throws. I mean, things just kind of piled on today, and that's really what I took away from this ballgame. When you look at his final line, 6 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, not a bad day. No walks, 5 strikeouts, very efficient. Only 16 balls thrown in this game. Really speaks to the aggressiveness of the Colorado Rockies. But with all of that being said, when you don't make plays defensively, I told you this, I said, you don't want to make 4 errors in a week. We made 4 errors today, and you probably could have had a couple others as well.
All right, let's go to our UPS store. Player of the game. This one's easy. It's Chad, don't call him Jerome Bettis, the outstanding pitcher today for the Colorado Rockies. He was locked in when he had to make big pitches in a big spot. He delivered.
Well, he had a good cutter going today as well. His fastball command, 93 miles an hour. He got dialed in early. Made a little bit of trouble with a couple innings with some walks, but that was it. Made pitches, kept the ball on the ground, got the pop-ups, fly balls as well. It was about a split down the middle, the way that the conditions were playing today. A couple of hard hit balls to outfielders that just didn't get any distance, just turned into fly ball out. So, again, we weren't really able to build anything today, and that's what the story has been for the Cubs offensively all season long, have been those long, drawn-out innings, lots of pitches, getting pitch counts up, taking the walks, then getting the big base hits. We were aggressive, kind of came out swinging those bats, wanting to do some damage, and he got the ball on the ground, got the ball in the air, and got those out. So he had more of a rhythm going in compared to what the Cubs hitters were trying to do.
And when the Rockies needed a big hit to get on top of the Cubs and get the lead early, Paulson delivered with that RBI single, and it was pretty much that one run had them in control for a long time.
Well, when you think back to what the Rockies did and what they did offensively, they were able to make adjustments to what Kyle did early in count. And early in counts, he was using that changeup. He almost played off of that Rockies aggressiveness and wanted to use that changeup to get ahead of hitters. And you watch Rockies hitters lay off it just enough to force him to throw those fastballs a little bit more up in the zone and out over the plate, and some balls that got through the middle. You see the base hit through the box right there by Parra.
Yeah, Gerardo Parra comes through with that hit. It expands the lead, and just the way things were playing out, you did not feel like the other night the Cubs got back in a ball game against the Reds when Finnegan was there. You didn't feel that vibe today.
Yeah, it was absolutely missing from today's ball game. Momentum is the best way to talk about it. We talk about the offense being relentless, and I talk about it in terms of momentum. Cubs have had it really all season long. We pointed out coming into today, 81 innings. They only trailed in 11 innings. So momentum has been on their side, setting up the bullpen the right way, getting a great start. I felt like you got a good start from Kyle. The bullpen was teetering just a little bit. But, again, a lot of that was based on the defense. The defense has been spotless to this point. And for whatever reason, today the boys just weren't on their game. Miscommunication in the infield a little bit, plays that didn't get made, and a couple extra bases were handed out on some errant throws.
Yeah, Chris Bryant with an error that would make it a 4-0 lead for the Colorado Rockies. And he had a couple of errors today, and it happens. It's an off day.
And a couple of the plays were make-or-break plays. We had some high choppers on the infield, throwing on the run, and that's really what you saw. The throwing errors today were on balls that were, plays that you're making on the run.
All right, season high in errors, 4. Hopefully we don't ever top that number. And a season low in runs scored with 1.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, adding this all up, just an ugly, ugly day from the Birds loading on us to what we saw on the field. This was not the Cubs' best effort in any way, shape, or form. Didn't really swing the bats particularly well. Again, my bright spot is Kyle. I thought Kyle was outstanding, all things considered.
All right, let's take a look at our Sports Authority play of the game. And although it's a loss, take a look.
Diving stop. Addison Russell out at first. What a play. Good dig by Rizzo at the other end as well. So Russell helping out his pitcher. Now Hendricks needs good defense behind him.
That was a big-time play. Addison had two really prime-time plays. One started a double play. The other one we just showed. Big-time plays.
Well, he's got incredible range. I told you this young man's going to win a lot of Gold Gloves, and I think we're going to get our first, case this year. We're going to get to watch him for a full season. We talked about it before the game, how good he was defensively last year. Give him a full season. He's going to put his name on that trophy soon enough. He's got more range than just about any shortstop I've seen, probably more. He's got the arm to go along with it. Goes into the hole as well as anybody in the game right now. You saw that twice today. And by the way, that double play minimized some of the damage, actually kept the ball game close. The bases were loaded in that situation right there. Wiped that out, runs scored, but still you gave yourself a fighting chance as we went late into this ball game.
All right, we'll take our first time out. As we head to break, we will give you our four-season who's hot and who's not. We'll hear from Joe Madden when we come back. Over the last 7 days, who's hot? How about Matt Kemp? The Padre slugger, 333 with 9 hits, 3 home runs. Who's not? Eric Ibar, brutal. $148 with 6 strikeouts. Quick timeout. We'll come back and hear from Cubs manager Joe Madden. Cubs lose 6-1 to the Rocks. Be right back here at Wrigley.
Cubs Postgame Live is presented by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all.
Make sure he's in bed by 8.
Sometimes I get scared.
Scared of what, Danny?
The things I can't see.
Got a weird feeling. Almost forgot. In case anything happens.
Dad, I got this.
What's the most awarded car company of the year? Ranking from top to bottom.
Luxury cars seem like they would be top awarded.
Better be some awards behind what you're paying for, right?
The final answer? Chevy, the most awarded car company 2 years in a row.
Wow, it's like a luxury car.
I was shocked. I mean, it's like, this is Chevy?
For a limited time, get cash back for 15% of the MSRP on most remaining 2015 Chevy vehicles while they last. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
No thanks, I have X1 from Xfinity, so.
Don't fall for DirecTV. Xfinity lets you download your shows from anywhere. Sign up today or get started with this great offer. Call or go online today.
I used to like that song.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you.
Call Adolescent Growth today and see how our proven treatment programs for eating disorders can begin to bring the sunshine back in the life of your teen and your family.
Please don't take my sunshine away.
Now playing on DirecTV Cinema.
I don't know what to say to them.
Tell them what's really happening.
Based on the inspiring true story.
The NFL has known about the concussion issue for years.
You're going to war with a corporation that owns a day of the week. This is bigger than they are.
Will Smith.
If I am wrong, I am wrong.
In the best performance of his career.
Nothing can bring you down.
You have to keep going.
We must honor our warriors.
Concussion. Movies start at Channel 125.
Cubs and Hawks fans, let me hear you. A 1, a 2, a 3.
He's such a jerk, Terry. No. Jamal Mayer singing the stretch here at Wrigley today, and hopefully it'll bring some better luck to the Blackhawks tonight as they play game 2 of their best-of-7 divisional series in St. Louis tonight. Hawks trail in that series 1-0. Of course, Jamal works with us down at Comcast SportsNet. All right, let's take a listen to Joe Madden. Brought to you by Xfinity.
Was that pregame question about the defense's bad timing today?
No, it's, we had a bad day. We had a bad day, man, and it's not always going to be an oil painting, and I really believe in the power of 24 hours. So we'll just throw that one in the can, come back out tomorrow and play our normal game. Their pitcher was good. Give their pitcher credit. He was really good. He made good pitches. He did not permit us to really get into that game. And conversely, I thought we pitched really well today. I mean, look at the score overall, and you think some guys had bad days on the mound. We did not. We pitched really well. We just had an unusual breakdown on defense, which I have so much faith in our guys. And like I said, I'm certain we will rebound. But it was a tough day on the field. And their pitcher was really good.
Kyle was all over the plate today, so
Oh, he had great stuff. They had primarily singles, a couple balls up the middle, a couple infield hits, a couple bunts. I mean, they executed well. The Rockies did. Not denigrating that whatsoever. I'm just saying I thought Kyle threw the ball extremely well. A lot of bad swings, a lot of well-placed pitches. He did good. He pitched definitely well enough to win. We just did not have our typical offensive day or defensive day.
There's some work to be done for the relief pitchers as far as holding guys down.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that's a work in progress with Neil. He's the guy, and Richard, you saw it at second base. That's both of those things were illustrated today. We have to be, we do talk about it a lot, not a little bit, a lot. And it's just something we, the guys, again, I talk about self-awareness a lot. You have to be self-aware in those moments to know what you're not so good at, and then attempt to make it better, and at least in the game be cognizant of those moments so you can make an adjustment. But you're right.
With the errors, you just chalked it up as one of those days where stuff happened.
I do. I mean, we're really good, and you've seen that already. It was a tough day on defense. Obviously, KB had a tough time at third base today. Uncharacteristic, even the one throw by Addison overall, not horrible. But just things that we did, just uncharacteristically, we just did not play. We didn't play our game today. We pitched really well. I thought, I'll defend that. We just did not hit well. But seriously, sometimes it's about the other team. Man, our guy was good. He kept making pitches. He kept making a variety of different pitches in different moments. And I've never really watched him before, but I thought he was really good.
As you said, Bettis didn't make it easy on your hitters, but did you still like the approach of the play?
Of course. I mean, the bus was tough today. You're absolutely right. He was talking about a ground game. Yeah, I really I do. I mean, there's nothing wrong with our approach. When a pitcher's really good, they're going to make you look not so good on certain days. I have no issue with anything except that I'm looking for this 24-hour clock to roll and to come back tomorrow and get back on track.
All right, so Joe Madden believes in the power of 24 hours. He actually said he felt they pitched pretty well.
He did.
Just not a clean game.
No, he was right about that. I mean, that's what I saw from Kyle. Kyle executed pitches. I mean, it's a great game plan today. But when you add outs at the major league level, or you give the opposition extra outs or extra opportunities, what we witnessed today is what the Cubs have been doing to everybody else all season long, really up until today, and that's how you have to look at it. It was an uncharacteristically bad day, but let me add this. Sometimes when it's bad, it's good to have it go really, really bad because it gets everybody's attention, especially in the clubhouse. You know, if you have a play, it doesn't go your way, you lose a 3-2 ball game, sometimes it might get lost, miscommunication, or, just a mishandled grounder. But when you have a game like today where everybody feels like maybe they had a little bit of hand in the bad. It gets everybody's attention. Nothing needs to be said in that clubhouse right now.
We got to clean that up right now.
And that's right. What today should be a reminder of is that as great as they've been in the first 9 games at 8-1, that you're as vulnerable to anybody in the National League or in Major League Baseball when you don't play your game. And so when you go out there and have a bad game like today, it's just an easy reminder, boy, we need to be better.
All right. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back with the Honda winning box score. Tell you about tomorrow's game, Holly's key review. We still got a lot more to do. We're here on the field at Wrigley. Cubs fall to the Rocks today, 6-1. Be right back.
Make sure he's in bed by 8.
Sometimes I get scared.
Scared of what, Danny?
The things I can't see.
Got a weird feeling. Almost forgot. In case anything happens.
Dad, I got this.
What's the most awarded car company of the year, ranking from top to bottom?
Luxury cars seem like they would be top awarded.
Better be some awards behind what you're paying for, right?
The final answer? Chevy, the most awarded car company 2 years in a row.
Wow, it's like a luxury car.
I was shocked. I mean, it's like, this is Chevy?
For a limited time, get cash back for 15% of the MSRP on most remaining 2015 Chevy vehicles while they last. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
You're not gonna watch it. No, you're not gonna watch it. We can't let you download on the go. You'll just have to miss it. Yeah, you'll just have to miss it.
No thanks. I have X1 from Xfinity, so.
Don't fall for DirecTV. Xfinity lets you download your shows from anywhere. Sign up today or get started with this great offer. Call or go online today.
I used to like that song. Add a timeless look with Rapid Lock engineered hardwood flooring from Menards. It installs easily with no glue or nails required. Cambria oak is $199 a square foot. Natural hickory is only $249 a square foot. Menards is your destination for window treatments. 1-inch vinyl blinds from Window Images start at $7.99. Plus, they can be custom trimmed to any width for free. Volley special order window treatments give the perfect look to any room. Right now, they're 25% off.
Save big money at Menards.
What would we be without our mountains? Without the things that stand in our way, that make us better? At Coors, our mountain is brewing the world's most refreshing beer. Lagered, filtered, and packaged cold. Our mountains make us who we are. Your mountains make you who you are. Whatever your mountain, climb on.
Students across Colorado,
Across New Jersey.
Across Illinois are raising standards and achieving great things.
They're listening to teachers.
they're practicing hard
and testing their skills. That's a game plan for success.
Go to gameplanforsuccess.org.
See schools that are knocking it out of the park.
Vote for your favorite, and we might visit them with a check for $5,000.
Learn more and vote for your favorite school at gameplanforsuccess.org.
But not a lot going on in that Rockies box score. Enough to win a ball game, but it wasn't like they were knocking the ball all over the yard. They had singles.
Yeah, 10 of them. Most of the damage, Carlos Gonzalez, Arenado had a bunt base hit. I mean, what you saw is what these guys do. And
a lot of paper cuts.
Well, right. It's exactly right. It got compounded by the errors, so they were able to build some innings. But, again, getting back to what the Rockies do in the Rockies way, they love to swing the bat. They love to swing early in the count. And, again, you saw it today. Use the off field, used up the middle. They made some good in-game adjustments. They got some good results for them. But you're right, no extra base hits. They got a lot of power in that lineup. I thought it was a pretty decent job by Kyle Hendricks today, but enough for a Rockies win.
Yep, Rockies win at 6-1. Let's hear from the man that the Rockies beat today. Let's go back inside to the press room. Here's Kyle Hendricks.
Pitching-wise, today you were on the plate a lot of strikes among them.
Yeah, I didn't even really recognize, honestly, until I came out of the game. I heard I threw like 16 balls all game. Part of that, I mean, I was throwing a lot of strikes, but they're an aggressive team too, so a lot of those balls were out of the zone still that they were swinging at. But overall, I mean, I felt pretty good. I felt like I threw all right. My fastball command was good, which is always kind of a key for me. So overall, you know, that guy over there threw a hell of a game to start, and so that's tough to beat.
With the field that you just chalk up this one of those days.
Yeah, it was a weird game all around. You know, the few errors, I even had a couple that I just felt like my glove had a hole in it or something. It was just a weird game all around, you know, a lot of things happening. So just chalk it up to that. We're fine, you know, we got Jake on the mound tomorrow. I think we'll be okay.
Touch that ball in the second inning, it didn't look like you did. I couldn't tell.
Yeah, I didn't touch it. No, I kind of just got stuck with my momentum going this way. Tried to go back, and I just didn't really get down to reach it. But
I mean, it seems it's all but one quality starts by you guys. You guys are going 6, 7 innings. Is it just kind of a contagious thing where, you know, 1 through 5 just seems like?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's expected, you know, but we put the pressure on ourselves as a staff we want to go deep into ball games. We know what we have in the bullpen, you know, those quality arms, but it's almost a pride thing. You want to go deep in games, and everybody's been doing it, and when you see everybody else doing it, you know, it makes you want to do it even more. So, yeah, I felt good even in that 7th. I still felt strong, so a lot of positives still to take from it.
What do you think about your first in-person look at Trevor Story?
I mean, good hitter. I mean, it's discipline, swings at good pitches. I got him on one curveball, actually. I don't throw that very often, but I had to kind of change it up with him. It was impressive to watch. You know, it was just a small sample, but he can definitely hit, yeah.
So Kyle Hendricks said, he goes, I felt like I threw the ball pretty well. Only 16 balls the entire day for him. He was locked in strike-wise. But you've always said to me, when you get north of 2/3 strikes to balls, you become predictable.
Well, 65%. But, I mean, again, he's right about that. You know, part of it is the Rockies' aggressiveness. They chased some pitches out of the zone early and put balls in play. I mean, again, 12 ground ball outs. That's always a great sign for Kyle Hendricks. So, to me, today is really wrapped up in talking about the defense. I would have said the Cubs are the better defensive team. They didn't make plays than the Rockies, who made some spectacular plays defensively in this ballgame. And when you look at it on paper, there were no extra base hits. This was going to be about walks or errors and singles and who could put the most together.
All right, let's take a look at the Cubs box score. They lose today to the Rocks 6-1, and just not a lot in the lineup, but you get a key performer win. Your guy, Anthony Rizzo, has 1 hit.
Yeah, well, that's how it went.
Better than my guy who had no hits and a walk.
4 singles, and again, you know, talking about it, the Cubs a little uncharacteristically, and I don't necessarily want to say that because I knew that Rockies pitching in Bettis today, he was outstanding. We're going to attack the strike zone. Again, you know, the message gets out. When the Cubs have been doing what they've been doing, seeing so many pitches, taking their walks, it is going to be in the pregame report for the Colorado Rockies. Attack these guys. They've been patient. They've been grinding out at bats, but don't give in. You know, get after them, throw strike 1, throw strike 2, and see what you can do from there. But don't let these guys just walk the world and build those innings like they've been doing. And what you saw today, certainly from Bettis, only the 3 walks in the 6 innings, the same thing from the bullpen in aggressiveness, throwing strike 1, getting ahead of hitters, and putting the Cubs in a position where they have to be a little bit more aggressive.
All right, let's take a look at some of those diving catches because the Rockies brought their gloves with them. Yes, they're a good hitting team, but they also played some big-time defense.
Well, and that's right. That's a credit to the Colorado Rockies. They were on their game today. You know, traditionally, Rockies come into Wrigley Field over the years. I think it's they've lost 20 of 28, but they played an outstanding ball game from the mound, even out to the defensive side of things. They were on the game. They were in the right position. I think of a couple lineouts. Zobrist to first base as well. Guys were just in the right spots, and then the outfielders got some great jumps and great breaks on balls. We talked about the ball hanging up, and that's the other thing that was playing early in today is the wind was blowing from right to left. Some of those deep drives that were hit out into right center field were getting hung up in that wind. Always gives an outfielder an extra step to come in and catch a baseball, and you saw that a couple times today as well.
In a day like this, and you or a guy could take the ball out of the ballpark, is it so hard to hit it out that you change your approach, or you just swing as you normally swing?
No, you swing as you normally do, but I mean, you know, hitters will be frustrated. I know that there was a couple hard hit balls in the right center field gap today that we thought were going to either be off a wall or out, that were just getting caught up in that breeze. And as an outfielder, you realize that, so it allows you to be so much more aggressive. Even on a ball that's blistered or hit on a line, you don't have to worry about it getting too far over your head. Basically, what baseballs do when they're up in a cold wind like that is they decelerate in the air. So when they fall, they don't fall with velocity. They fall, hit the ground, don't get very far from you. opportunity so you can actually be more aggressive as an outfielder.
All right, got to take our last time out. We'll come back. We'll go through Holly's keys. We'll get you set for Game 2 tomorrow, which you'll get here on CSN. Holly and I will have pregame 12:30 tomorrow here on the field at Wrigley. Be right back.
4x4, the rules that were made to be broken. For ruling the road, no matter what that road's made of. For believing awards aren't won, they're earned. Jeep Grand Cherokee. It's how we live 4x forever. During 1 week to deal, get $500 bonus cash for $2,500 total cash allowance on the 2015 Jeep Grand Cherokee.
Add a timeless look with Rapid Lock engineered hardwood flooring from Menards. It installs easily with no glue or nails required. Cambria oak is $199 a square foot. Natural hickory is only $249 a square foot. Menards is your destination for window treatments. 1-inch vinyl blinds from Window Images start at $7.99. Plus, they can be custom trimmed to any width for free. Bali special order window treatments give the perfect look to any room. Right now, they're 25% off.
Save big money at Menards.
What would we be without our mountains? Without the things that stand in our way, that make us better. At Coors, our mountain is brewing the world's most refreshing beer. Lagered, filtered, and packaged cold. Our mountains make us who we are. Your mountains make you who you are. Whatever your mountain, climb on.
Students across Colorado,
Across New Jersey, across Illinois are raising standards and achieving great things.
They're listening to teachers
they're practicing hard.
And testing their skills.
That's a game plan for success.
Go to gameplanforsuccess.org.
See schools that are knocking it out of the park.
Vote for your favorite, and we might visit them with a check for $5,000.
Learn more and vote for your favorite school at gameplanforsuccess.org.
Honda believes in helping you use your garage to its fullest potential. That's why we're offering great deals on the things you'll want in your garage, like the Honda CR-V. The best-selling SUV in America comes with a standard multi-angle rear-view camera and plenty of cargo space. Great for transporting lots of stuff, say to storage or the dump. Hurry to the Honda Dream Garage sales event. You've got a garage to fill. The most durable, longest-lasting brand in its class has great deals. Now at your Honda dealer.
My heart and my broken bones. If I can't stand up on my own, don't make me stand alone. Lift me up so I can see the light. When the sun goes down, I will lay in your arms tonight. Don't be afraid, don't be afraid. Your heart's been repaid.
Mariah Haberman here from Discover Wisconsin. Join me and the rest of the DW crew every week on this station for all things Wisconsin. Find us on social media right now for gorgeous photos and great Wisconsin giveaways. Speaking of free stuff, did you know every month we give away an exciting vacation? This month you can win a prize package to a few southern Mississippi river towns. Just visit discoverwisconsin.com for details. Saturday mornings at 10 on Comcast SportsNet.
Cubs fans, show your team pride with Cubs checking, an official Cubs MasterCard debit card only available at your local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/Cubs to learn more. Member FDIC. Welcome back here on Cubs Postgame Live, brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois. Time to take a look at Holly's keys from today's game. Holly?
Well, I'll tell you what, offensive, talking about the Rockies and kind of their approach, I think you're going to see this play throughout the series, so it's something that you can play off of. Now, again, no extra base hits, and they've been piling up the home runs and hitting very, very well, both on the road and at home so far in the early going. But what you saw them do today is put the ball in play, line the ball up, and actually make some adjustments to Kyle Hendricks. This is a good offensive team. They got a little offensive. I mean, I still put a little bit more of it on the Cubs defense today than the Rockies coming out and putting up an 11 spot and hitting a bunch of doubles and homers. We didn't see that from them, but they are capable of that as well. All right, time to rake. Let me say this. The Cubs, got to be a little bit better today. I mean, I give a lot of credit to Bettis, but again, early in the count, a lot of swinging. And they tried to build some at-bats early, but I just really felt like Bettis was on his game and executing pitches, and that particularly, that little cut fastball that he throws to the left-handed hitters was outstanding today, and he was just getting ahead of hitters and continued to throw strikes. Good to see. Late game heroics, thought we had an advantage. Down there in the bullpen, the Rockies bullpen stepped up and got it done today, despite the number 7.29 ERA coming into this one, had given up 7 homers. They had the lead. They made that lead stand up. So tip your hat to the Colorado Rockies. They played the better ball game today.
They did. Tomorrow, Cubs will play Game 2 of this 3-game weekend set before they head off to St. Louis for a series starting on Monday. Pitching matchup is Christian Bergman. He will go up against Jake Arrieta.
It's funny how these things work themselves out, isn't it, Cap? I think Jake Arrieta is showing up at the absolute right time. We haven't seen a sloppy game like this from the Cubs in a while. They do happen. Everybody goes through them. We saw it today. It's something to bounce back from. We heard Joe Madden talk about 24 hours. Well, my 24-hour solution is Jake Arrieta. He'll get you right. So hopefully a big performance from him tomorrow. I think it's a big spot. You certainly want to get back to what you've been doing so well tomorrow.
Obviously, we know what we're going to hope to get from him. He just continues his role. The Cubs should be fine. But offensively, this is a Colorado team that will be ultra aggressive again.
Oh, there's no doubt about it, especially going up against Jake Arrieta. But I don't just put that on Jake. I mean, around baseball, and I hear this from some of the game's best hitters all the time, that when you're going up against those aces, generally you want to be aggressive early. A lot of times the best pitch you see is at the front end of your count. You know, your first at bat, your second at bat. You want to go up there, get a good fastball. Aces, they get dirtier as the at-bat goes on. 0-1, 0-2, you don't want to be in that position to be trying to cover the entire plate and deal with what they've got. So, yeah, I expect the Rockies to be ultra-aggressive tomorrow as well.
Expecting the temperatures to be somewhere here at the ballpark in the 60s, 70s away from the lake. So the weather starting to get better and get warmer. It should affect the offense as things heat up as well.
Well, they hit their stride. I mean, there's going to be a break in this series at some point. I know the Rockies pitched very, very well today, but they've had their struggles already this year. Let me say this. I think that we're going to see this Cubs team really break out in one of these next 2 games and get that offense going. So I'm excited for what I think is going to happen in this series.
And Javi Baez is now up. Kawasaki goes back to Iowa, so it gives the Cubs some more options because he can play. He worked it back up at first. He worked up at second, short, third, and then left.
No doubt about it. I'm really hoping he gets to start sometime this weekend, either tomorrow or on Sunday as well, as this is the opening week, and I want to see him get his feet underneath him because I think there are big expectations for him this year.
All right, that's going to put a ribbon on our post-game show, brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois. For Todd Hollingsworth, our great crew, we'll see you tomorrow from the field at 12:30. I'm David Kaplan. Have a great start to your weekend.
This is what precision feels like. Magnetic Ride Control actively monitors road conditions 1,000 times per second to deliver a comfortable ride.
1,000 times, huh? Yeah, per second. How about that?
This is the new, meticulously crafted 2016 Sierra Denali from GMC. This is the precision of professional grade. Or get nearly $8,300 total value on specially equipped 2016 Sierra Crew Cab SLT models. GMC, we are professional grade.
Hey, I fix my heart and my broken bones. If I can't stand up on my own, don't make me stand alone. Lift me up so I can see the light. When the sun goes down, I will lay in your arms tonight. Don't be afraid, don't be afraid. Your heart's been repaid.
Honda believes in helping you use your garage to its fullest potential. That's why we're offering great deals on the things you'll want in your garage, like the Honda CR-V. The best-selling SUV in America comes with a standard multi-angle rear-view camera and plenty of cargo space. Great for transporting lots of stuff, say to storage or the dump. Hurry to the Honda Dream Garage sales event. You've got a garage to fill. The most durable, longest-lasting brand in its class has great deals. Now at your Honda dealer.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you.
Call Adolescent Growth today and see how our proven treatment programs for eating disorders can begin to bring the sunshine back in the life of your teen and your family.
Please don't take my sunshine away.
Now playing on DirecTV Cinema.
Brad had finally been accepted by his stepkid until
my ex-husband's here.
Dusty came home.
Holy, I'm going to prove to you that I'm the best. Looks like we got ourselves a dad off. Who wants good night tickles? Good night back scratches. Who wants 20 bucks? What? What's this? Playoff ticket. I'm bad.
This one's for Dylan and Megan.
Movies start at Channel 125.
What a Friday it is on Comcast SportsNet. Our baseball coverage continues 1 hour from now in Tampa, where Chris Sale takes the mound as the Sox visit the Rays. That game will be on CSN. Plus, Hawk and Steve Stone have the call at 6 o'clock. Meanwhile, a fluke goal gave the Blues a 1-0 series lead. Can the Blackhawks level the first-round series with Duncan Keith back in the lineup after serving his suspension? Game 2 is on CSN. Pre-game live starts our coverage at 6:30. Then Pat Foley and Eddie Olczyk have the call from St. Louis at 7. We get you set for all of the action right now on Sports Talk Live. Welcome into Sports Talk Live, presented by the Chevy Silverado. Layla Rahimi in for David Kaplan, who you just saw at Wrigley Field. Let's meet the panel for today's show. From Bleacher Report, Seth Gruen, nice to see you. Rick Tellender, the columnist from the Sun-Times, and my fellow Denton High School Bronco and North Texas Eagles / Mean Green, Phil Rogers from MLB.com. Nice to see you.
Layla, did you ever go to the Howdy Dance?
Yes.
We used to have the Howdy Dance, first of the year.
You guys are just some real cowboys.
I went to Denton High School. Philly attended the Howdy Dance, and we both wrote for the Denton High School Horseshoe and the North Texas Daily. How we have come full circle.
I don't know how we made it here.
The Texans have taken over the panel.
I had no idea you had Texas in you. I got to rethink my whole relationship with Phil. Okay.
Shocking stuff.
Yeah.
Well, and then I mentioned to you, of course, the appearance where I had first read your work outside of the Chicagoland area, which was in the Best American Sports Writing. So crazy how this all comes together. But we start with some hockey first. The Blackhawks, game 2 tonight. They do get Duncan Keith back, but we see a familiar sight in St. Louis. We've seen it before in 2014, an overtime win by the Blues, 1-0. Do you press any sort of panic button, guys?
I don't. I mean, this is playoff hockey. Sometimes a bounce here or there can, end a game like that. I mean, the Blackhawks have been on the right end of this before, too. I have to imagine getting Duncan Keith back, though, is the difference in a game like that.
That'll help. It's been getting pretty rough. You know, when I saw that, I was thinking, so we and everybody, Blackhawks fans, just watched 3.5 periods to see that. And it makes you realize how crazy hockey is, you know? You just shoot the puck at the net sometimes, and you hope that you get a nutty bounce like that. And this game's been getting really physical. Or, I mean, the Blues and the Blackhawks are two physical teams, and everybody they try to hit the Blackhawks and get them off their game. And you know, one thing Quenneville said was, well, I hope they try to get, somebody was talking about 70 hits. I mean,
Ken Hitchcock said 70.
I mean, 70 hits, and Quenneville said, yeah, I hope they do, because that means we'll have the puck all the time to get that many hits. I mean, that's a crazy amount. But if it gets really physical, you know, Duncan Keith has been suspended for being too physical. So I wonder where it's going to go tonight. I really don't know.
That was hitting somebody with an object, though, slightly different.
This Blackhawk group, though, I mean, you don't press the panic button, you know, at down 1-0, lose on a road game. I mean, if they've showed us anything over the last 6 years, it's that, you know, they aren't going to get freaked out by home or road, or, you know, go down early in a series. I mean, they have the fortitude to get through these things like it's nothing.
I think the comments by the two coaches are very telling to the identity of those two teams. I mean, the Blues want to rough them up, like you said, take them off their game. And Q responded with kind of a cocky comment. Well, it means we have the puck all the time. You look at Patrick Kane, when people kind of rag him about being last in league in hits, he says, well, it's hard to hit somebody when you have the puck all the time.
And that, I think it's all funny that the very first thing we mentioned about this series to start, and it was what grabbed me too, was just Ken Hitchcock being a little bit glib when he said he wanted his team to have 70 hits. So let's revisit exactly what Hitch said following that Game 1 win.
We had 41 or 45 hits. We're going to have to get it into the 70s. We expect to win.
Really?
Yeah.
Did he answer you why he wanted to get to 70 hits?
He just said that he wanted to be physical, get you guys off the puck.
Yeah, but I hope he tries to go to 70. That means we got the puck the whole game.
I think they're going to try and hit everybody. I mean, you know, I think when they say 70 hits, I mean, I'm not going to be out on the ice that long to get 70 hits on one guy. So, I mean, I think it's all, you know, part of the game.
There's a lot going on there, but I crack up because of how Hitch just presented it. And then, obviously, I haven't been in Chicago too long, but it was interesting to see Coach Q's reaction, even when you saw him on the podium. And then Duncan Keith naturally takes it to another level.
Could you call Coach Q's reaction said with a smirk? Do you think? Does the word smirk? I mean, these guys don't say what they really mean, and Hitchcock said that with a straight face. I don't know enough about hockey to know if there's ever been 70 hits in a game. I mean, you know, it's like just 200 tackles in a football game or something, but you see these guys getting run into the boards, and I mean, that hurts.
Well, they had 41, just for reference, in that game. So, and according to Hitch, at one point, he said 57. So the Ken Hitchcock counter of hits may be completely different.
It seems kind of dumb, though, because it seems self-defeating that you're going to put the referees on the lookout for your hits. Like, you might be, it might not be meant to be a dirty hit. It might not meant, you know, but, you know, just a split second is the difference between a penalty and a clean hit. And, you know, I think the Blackhawks have been having trouble on the power play. They couldn't score early in this game in the power play or in Game 1, but you know they would love to get some power plays early, and, you know, those things could turn the series around.
I think to a large degree here, you know, they're just trying to get in the Blackhawks' heads. I mean, that's the whole thing with hitting somebody. You want to make them tentative with the puck, and the reality is that, hey, maybe a little jabbing before the game
Can
does
you imagine that, Seth, working with the Blackhawks, had their 3 Stanley Cups, and everybody says that every year we're going to do that. I only worry about actually the reciprocal part of it. A guy like Duncan Keith coming back from having whacked a guy with his stick, he's got to be kind of careful, I would guess,
you'd hope he'd learn
at least from the league standpoint. You know, I mean, if last night they were, you know, this game somebody was getting ready to drop the gloves. I mean, it was close. They won't do it. I don't think they'll fight. But you hit somebody and it's a team leader, and you knock him into the boards, and somebody's right there. You don't want to see anything dumb like a guy getting suspended.
Yeah, it didn't get chippy, but it got nearly chippy, and obviously David Backes has a history for going after guys there to get under people's skin, but it is the playoffs. And it's a situation where you don't know if you're going to see that kind of fighting, at least when it comes to a game like
that. See a 6-goal game, huh? Let's unleash Patrick
That's an
Kane.
Awesome prediction after the 1-0 deflected goal that we saw the last time.
They counted the game-winning pass off a skate as a shot, and it was the Blues' 4th shot since the start of the 3rd period. I would think they might want to try to generate, you know, a little bit of puck movement and, you know, some attack rather than talk about hitting
guys, right? They're too busy trying to nail somebody. Well, that's a good point. That's a great point. So they made that shot. The Blackhawks, I feel, should have won the game. I mean, I think they're the superior team. The Blues have been trouble for them. I know, Phil, you said earlier, you know, let's all chill out and everything, but that's not what we sports writers do. At least we columnists. We get all edgy and nervous when you're down 0-1.
Well, and it's a case of spoiled Blackhawk fans, and I said it in tongue-in-cheek a bit to begin the show, just about the pressing of the panic button. And keep in mind, the 2014 series, there were 2 overtime games in St. Louis, and they had home ice, and we know how that turned out.
Good. I mean, these hockey games can turn on something so small. And which series with the Blackhawks, was it 14? I mean, when the one went
off Andrew Shaw.
Yeah, deflected in. So, and yet that's part of hockey. Now, Phil's a baseball genius. So when a guy hits one of those little dinky flares that the second baseman and the right fielder and the first baseman can't get to, and 3 runs come in, you know.
there's a whole lot of random in baseball and pretty much any sport. And I think it's sometimes silly how much we analyze it to death, and then it is one of these uncontrollable hops that kind of determines winners and losers.
However, You have a 5-on-3 power play chance in the first period. You expect the Blackhawks to answer there. You have 0 for 5 total on the power play, and that's something that they want to improve on for game 2.
Oh, 100% in a playoff situation, you got to capitalize there. But I think in the first period, there's enough of the game to make that up. That's sort of maybe the conventional thinking in hockey.
And I'm not a hockey guy, but I think getting Duncan Keith back is a big plus for the power play because he's out there and he's a guy that can score, and he can certainly draw some guys away from Kane and Taves and the usual suspects.
So we have more hockey coming up. As you mentioned, the Conn Smythe winner coming back. And here is today's Jimmy John's Freaky Fast poll question. Tonight's Game 2 means more to the A, Blues, B, Blackhawks. You have 2 choices. Decide on one. To vote, go to csnchicago.com. We will have updated results throughout the show. Order Jimmy John's sandwich delivery today. Yummy good, freaky fast. Go to jimmyjohns.com. So the Cubs were due for a bad game, and today it was it. 4 errors committed by the Cubs as their 5-game winning streak comes to an end with a 6-1 loss to the Colorado Rockies. Chris Bryant with 2 of those 4. Kyle Hendricks gave up 4 runs, only 2 earned, though, in the loss. And for more on that Cubs loss, we go out to Wrigley. That's where we find David Kaplan, not in this chair. He's with Holly.
Thanks, Layla. Holly, a tough day for the Cubs. Defense left them. Offense really wasn't engaged today. Tip your cap, Colorado played better in all aspects.
Colorado Rockies played the better baseball game today, but it's the front end of a series. This team has played very, very well. Cap, I've told you many times, sometimes it's bad. It's good to have a really bad game, and, maybe that just gets everybody back on point. Not that you don't love the winning, and they would have loved to win the game today, but when you've got 4 errors at the major league level, I really don't care who you're playing. You're not going to win many ball games making 4 errors. So it was one of those games where the pitching was good, but the defense just let them down.
Also, you look at this game today, it was chilly. The Rockies didn't kill you. They kind of paper-cutted you, and you bled to death. 10 singles.
Well, let me say this. What the Rockies did better than the Cubs offensively is make adjustments in the game. And Kyle Hendricks was outstanding early on, and he had a great start. Did give up 2 earned runs, gave up 4 runs in the game. But my point is, didn't walk anybody, struck out 5, had a great changeup working as well. But Rockies hitters laid off that dirty changeup just enough times to get better pitches to put in play just a little bit harder. I think of a Cargo line drive single to left that got a rally going. Parra going back through the box on a ground ball as well. So their at-bats got just a little bit better than the Cubs. The Cubs just never really seemed to get in gear.
All right, last one. Jake Arrieta will be on the bump on Saturday. Your ace comes at the right time. You play a really bad game, you get your best guy on the mound.
The right guy, right spot is exactly how I would say it. Joe Madden said that, listen, 24-hour periods. He's absolutely right about that. You want to be able to forget what you did. There's not a whole lot that you're going to extract from today's ball game and say that was a positive, other than, in my opinion, Kyle Hendricks' start. But that being said, you got Arrieta going. That's the easy way to say, all right, we're going to play better tomorrow.
All right, I'll see you at the ballpark.
Sounds good.
12:30 tomorrow for our pregame show. For Todd Hollingsworth, I'm David Kaplan. Let's go back to Layla.
Well, guys, thanks. And I guess we need a stopper now for the Cubs since they had their 1 loss, so they get Jake Arrieta, the Cy Young winner, back. That's very tongue-in-cheek. But at the same time, okay, so the Cubs lost. They're 8-2 on the season. Their run differential is still 38. That is the most in all of baseball. The Cardinals are next at 24. It's not like anybody's worried about a loss to the Rockies on a Friday afternoon.
No, the winning percentage is down to 800. I think they can handle that. But this division, it's not just the Cubs playing well. I mean, the Pirates off to a very good start. The Cardinals, looked kind of shaky. They had a shaky series early, came back from that. It all does matter, and you're not going to keep playing as well as they played, though. And this was a poor defensive game. I actually don't think the first error was an error that was charged to Kyle Hendricks, but he won't argue because now it's an unearned run.
Precisely.
So that's even better for him. But, they've been playing so good defensively, and, you're just going to have games like this in baseball, and shouldn't make too much about it. And it is a good day tomorrow to have Arrieta coming back. And one nice thing about this weekend, 3 day games all starting at the same time. I think they really got that right after years and years of juggling from noon, and you'll still have some noon starts for TV, But by and large, when they can control it, they're going to be 1 o'clock starts, and so you won't, players will know what time you got to get there, and more importantly, fans will know that these games start at 1 o'clock, not 3, not noon. I think that's nice.
It's pretty cool. Cubs fans are so thirsty. They've been wandering through the desert for 108 years, and begging for water. So, I mean, I've talked to Cub fans, and they kind of thought the Cubs were never going to lose again. I mean, so they kind of freaked out by being 8-2. That one game they lost, there's some bad base running, I think, by Bryant or Rizzo or somebody. They should have won that game. So they're 8-1. They go into this, they lose. It was a bad game. I agree with, I think Cap said, or Holly said, it's good to have a bad game, just get it out of there, because you're not going to win them all. But I think Saturday and Sunday is going to be nuts at the ballpark. This will be the first good weather, home crowd. As Phil said, they started they know when they start, and Wrigley is torn up. I've been there already for opening day. I want to warn you, fans, get there early, however you get there, because you got all this security, and people are mobbing. The statues are forced out into the street. There's construction everywhere. It's crazy. Once you get in the ballpark, it's that sanctuary again, and you get to watch Jake Arrieta.
The disclaimer you should tell everybody is that you're allergic to traffic. So.
Yes, this is true. This is true. I mean, and I always get places late, and I'm always swearing and cursing, and I'm this close.
Not on this show, though.
No.
Yeah.
I'm close to road rage, and I try to suppress it. But.
Now, you mentioned, by the way, that fans and the arrival for Wrigley Park may not be in midseason form, but I can tell you one thing that is in midseason form, the Seagulls game. Check out what happened to Cap earlier today. This is amazing. He mentioned it before they started pregame, so Cap and Holly are getting ready. Obviously, they're on the field. You see the Seagulls circling, and oh dear, right on the shoulder. There it is.
Slow-mo, here it comes.
Let's zoom in.
We spent all winter training that bird.
Bam!
I hear it's good luck, though. Isn't that true?
Look at the camera work, for God's sake, That's awesome.
When we have Cap's clothes to worry about, and he's got quite the wardrobe, and we have some motivated, excellent, talented editors and production staff, we can do a pretty good job.
Oh, wait, you saw those seagulls swarming out there. I mean, it's crazy. They come in, they know when the game's over. And they come in and they get all the extra popcorn and Cracker Jacks and all that stuff. The poor Cap, but he's got some deal. I guarantee he's got a deal for some haberdashery place.
He's got a guy. Yeah. But back to the baseball, just as we do get to laugh a little bit. And your column about Kyle Schwarber is one to keep in mind, not just at this time, but to refer to it back months from now.
Yeah.
And I think that's the situation is we've seen the season come down so many times to that last couple of games. And so now we have to look at this as a bigger picture, and then that 6-1 loss to the Rockies.
You're going to need...
You never know.
Kyle Schwarber, I mean, I'll let you guys go on it, but, he is a rare left-handed power hitter. And to lose him like this with essentially a football injury, and the guy was a linebacker in high school, never really got hurt, and then he runs into Dexter Fowler. You will hurt them later on.
But there are two realities with this team that we need to understand. The first is that they're young, and that they're gonna have particularly offensive days like this. Okay, and number two, that this team was built to sustain an injury like Schwarber's. Okay, they're deep at the they're deep at position players. No. I would much rather, I feel bad for Kyle Schwarber, but you much rather lose a hitter from this team than a starting pitcher. And I think they'll be fine.
My take is a little bit like Rick's. I think it's not going to determine whether they make the playoffs or not, but you start playing these playoff series that are going to be really tight. You're going to want all hands on deck, and I think they will miss Schwarber in October. He lengthens that lineup a lot.
I love that we were thinking about this, and now we have to get back to today. The Blues have a leg up on their rivals after a fluky goal giving them Game 1. So how confident is Ken Hitchcock's team leading into Game 2? We will ask Darren Payne when he joins us live from St. Louis. And Lovie Smith will lead the Illini, but will he be kinder with the media? If you ask Lovie, his standoffish nature might have been the press's fault. Well, you'll want to hear his quotes next on Sports Talk Live.
Not.
Sports Talk Live is presented by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers who know what it takes to be number one. It's all about drive.
Thanks for coming today. I want each of you to grab a 2x8 and cut it. You'll have 2 saws to choose from. You all chose the best tool for the job. Wouldn't it make sense to make the same choice when it comes to your truck?
Absolutely.
This is the 2016 Chevy Silverado.
Nice.
A good-looking pickup. Incredible. I love it.
Find your tag and get a total value of $9,000 on this Silverado Double Cab All-Star. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
Before each week's NASCAR race, enter the Chicagoland Speedway Sweepstakes at CSNChicago.com and tell us who you think will win. Then be sure to tune in every Tuesday to CSN as the president of Chicagoland Speedway, Scott Paddock, joins Dave Kaplan on Sports Talk Live. If he randomly selects your entry, you'll win tickets to the NASCAR Sprint Cup race on September 18th in Joliet. Plus, you'll be entered to win the grand prize, a trip for 2 to the 2016 Sprint Cup Awards ceremony in Las Vegas. Submit your race pick now.
Nice car. Not so nice scratch. Wouldn't it be nice if removing ugly scratches from your car was this easy? Now with new Finish Scratch Doctor, removing surface scratches is easy. In fact, independent laboratory tests have proven Scratch Doctor to be the best scratch remover available. Scratch Doctor with advanced microtechnology also removes paint scrapes, scuffs, haze, and swirl marks. So get Scratch Doctor.
#1 rated Scratch Doctor. Available at O'Reilly Auto, Home Depot, Pep Boys, Target, AutoZone, Walmart, and other leading stores.
I'm not an archaeologist. I'm a cardiologist. Get to Schaumburg Ford and uncover the treasures of Ford.
April is Autism Awareness Month, and Schaumburg Ford is donating $100 for every car sold to Autism Speaks. Make a difference and shop Schaumburg Ford.
Better see us before you buy.
Bob Rohrman.
Bob Rohrman, Schaumburg Ford, just west of the Whitfield Mall on Gulf Road, Schaumburg.
Tomorrow, Dexter Fowler looks to torch his former team as the Cubs break out the lumber in a Game 2 tilt with Cargo and the Rockies. Grab the latest intel before the action on Cubs Pregame Live, presented by Fields Auto. Tomorrow at 12:30 on CSN Chicago.
Tuesday at 7:30. Join CSN Chicago for a special Coors Light viewing party at Cortland's Garage in Arlington Heights. Watch Chicago battle St. Louis in Game 4 and enjoy ice-cold Coors Light. Great beer equals great responsibility.
This is Sports Talk Live, and here's our Chevy stat of the day. As we take a look at the Blackhawks record when losing Game 1 under Joel Quenneville. His Hawks are 5-3 in Game 2 after losing Game 1. The last time they dropped 2 of the first 2 games of the series, I was 2014 in the first round against these Blues. That said, joining us now from St. Louis is former Hawk goalie and current Blues analyst Darren Pang. And Panger, the Blues got the overtime win, a physical Game 1. Seemed like Ken Hitchcock was certainly in a good mood after that first win. What is the confidence level of the players and team starting this series with a win on their home ice?
Well, I think it had more to do with maybe St. Louis winning because even though they had more points in the regular season, there's much more pressure, if you can imagine, going up against the defending Stanley Cup champions, and the fact that the Blues haven't advanced past the first round. So, more pressure to win it and get off on the right foot. I think it probably meant less for Chicago to lose the way they lost it, to be quite honest with you, because 35 shots, they played well, they had many chances to win the hockey game, but Brian Elliott stood on his head, and that was the difference really in game number 1. So I think the spirit of both teams is very, very good, just listening to the players and talking to both coaches.
Ken Hitchcock said he wanted to see 70 hits from his team. How is the team reacting to that, and what do you expect to see tonight?
Well, I reminded Hitch today that the highest he's had all season long was 53 on Long Island, which is now in Brooklyn. And as you know, Brooklyn hands out hits on their stat sheet like free Bud Lights in St. Louis. So we got to take that for what it's worth. 70 hits in one game is an awful lot of hits. I really believe that Ken Hitchcock was having fun with people and just having them chase that story around just a little bit. But make no mistake, there was one part of the game that they wanted to do, and that was hit any defenseman that had the puck for the Chicago Blackhawks, especially Hjalmarsson and Seabrook and Roosevelt, and they did that. So I think that mission was accomplished for them. If they think they're going to go a long way, they probably think that they're going to have to take a chunk out of one of the defensemen at one point.
I think you might have a lot of Chicago reporters now suddenly wanting to cover Islanders games. But, Panger, how do you describe Brian Elliott's performance, which you touched on in that first game one?
Well, I thought it was excellent. You know, early on in the hockey game, after watching some video of Chicago shooters, they really like to test the goaltenders on the goal line. When it looks like they're going behind the net, they'll flick a little wrist shot high under the bar on the short side. I think they're just trying to test the goaltender, see if they get away from their posts or if they're going to be structured and stay square to the shot. So a lot of the early shots I was kind of concerned with because Patrick Kane or Panarin or Johnny Taves, they're so good at it, and Marian Hossa. But I thought he stood tall on those little shots, and I thought that gave him some real good confidence on the straight-on shots. Much like the way he played in Chicago to the second last regular season game when he saw Patrick Kane 2 or 3 times in odd man breaks, and he stared him down and shut him down, and that's not easy to do. So I would say that, Brian played the best playoff game that I've seen him play.
The Blues' penalty kill was also so solid. Hawks 0 for 5. Do you expect to see the same thing out of that PK unit tonight?
Well, they've been good for the last 5 or 6 years. They've been in the top 5, so I wouldn't expect many changes there. But they put their bodies on the line, especially on that 5-on-3 for over 30 seconds. There was a lot of shots that never got through to Brian Elliott. Players that they don't get a lot of credit. We always credit a guy like Hjalmarsson and Seabrook for shot blocking, but there were a lot of unsung heroes defensively. Shattenkirk's not known as a shot blocker. He had 5. Colton Parayko had 5. So I think all in all, it was an unbelievable team effort on that penalty kill.
Darren Pang from the Scott Trade Center, we thank you so much for your time. Good luck on your call tonight.
Okay, thank you very much.
And now to football, and Lovie Smith, the Trib's Teddy Greenstein, sat down with the Illini's new head coach and asked him how he's adjusting to life in college after decades in the NFL. And Smith said he won't have any problems getting used to recruiting again. But when he was asked if he felt he needed to be more open with the media in Champaign than he was in Chicago, the former Bears head coach disagreed with that assessment. Levy told Teddy, quote, "It's a misnomer I was that way in Chicago. If you're dealing with a bunch of jerks, you don't deal with them a whole lot. And people weren't really looking to find out who some were looking for a different angle. I'm not going to deal with those people still, but I'm always selling our program." Gentlemen, your thoughts?
Okay, we are the media. Do I seem like a jerk? Maybe he wasn't talking about me.
I think so.
You think? No, I think he's talking about you, Seth. Or Phil. I don't know. You know, coaches should be able to say what they want to say. But I think the thing that got us about Lovey in Chicago was when we would ask him an obvious question, and he would tell us something that you could tell was a corporate line, like so-and-so is our quarterback. Or you just wouldn't ever... Well, he wouldn't blame anybody. I guess if you're a player, you like that. But you wanted some openness, and I don't feel that we really got that. And, you know, he chose to be that way. It'll probably be a lot easier for him at Champaign. You know, we don't have, there's not going to be hundreds of media people down there.
Look, I think he will attract some media, at least early on. I think this hire has some buzz. It's a little short-sighted. Nice job by Teddy on, you know, asking that question because I think it's important.
Teddy's fearless.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay. Well,
you think Lovey was going to say you, Teddy, you were the problem?
No, I'm just saying I think it's a little short-sighted of Lovey to think he doesn't need to be a little bit more media-friendly. That said, there are other college football coaches, namely Nick Saban, who are very closed off to the media. Now, Alabama isn't Illinois. I mean, you know, or Illinois isn't Alabama. Illinois is so far off that I think Lovey needs to do whatever he can to get the program out in front of people. That said, it's about wins and losses. If he wins, it's not going to matter.
The NFL, I mean, you got Bill Belichick kind of setting the tone, I think, and that's not a good tone. But it seems to me, especially if you're going to talk NFL versus college, you know, college, you're coaching 19 and 20-year-olds and guys that maybe you do need to protect. I always liked pro sports better than college sports because these are grown-ups and, you know, should be more anything goes. You know, a coach on any level in pro sports should be able to be more open and more honest and engage. And, you know, we certainly see that with Joe Madden at Wrigley Field now. And, you know,
it's wonderful. You know what Joe Madden said one time? It might have been me, one of the jerk media, prefaced the question by saying this may be a stupid question.
Confessional.
Or a random question or an oddball question. He said, I love oddball questions. It's like, great, Joe Madden will answer anything.
I knew he was great. I knew him when he managed the Rays, but he was so much better last year than I thought, and it was because he went the whole year without, one, getting annoyed by a question, or two, condescending in his answer. Right. You know, and it really, it would actually get annoying to the beat writers, people around there, when he would get a question that wasn't a very good question, and he would give it such a thoughtful answer that, but it, you know, it's how you make it. And,
well, I think Lovey could learn from that. I don't think there's anything beneficial about not having the media people, and we are humans, we don't have to like you, but really respect you and think you're being honest with us. I don't think there's any negative to that. You know, Urban Meyer is a great guy to talk to, and now you got Jim Harbaugh, you got very dynamic people in the Big Ten, and Lovey, you know, Illinois has had so many problems. He's gonna be asked some tough questions.
Urban Meyer is a great example of a guy who's changed a little bit from when he was at Florida. He was a little bit more curt with the media, and now at Ohio State, you know, he's a little more eloquent and willing to answer more questions.
Well, as we go back to the Diamond now, the White Sox road trip heads to Tampa, where Chris Sale takes the hill, looking to give the Sox their 8th win in the first 10 games. CSNChicago.com's Dan Hayes joins us live with a preview from Joe Madden's former home next.
The new Craftsman Pro Series riding mowers. Now available with power steering, so you can turn with ease. Available with the tightest turning radius in the industry. And powerful V-twin engines with up to 26 horsepower. Because the beer you drink after you mow your lawn tastes better than the beer you drink after someone else mows your lawn. Craftsman, when it matters.
Students across Colorado,
across New Jersey, across Illinois are raising standards and achieving great things.
They're listening to teachers. They're practicing hard
and testing their skills.
That's a game plan for success.
Go to gameplanforsuccess.org.
See schools that are knocking it out of the park.
Vote for your favorite, and we might visit them with a check for $5,000.
Learn more and vote for your favorite school at gameplanforsuccess.org.
Now playing on DirecTV Cinema.
I don't know what to say to them.
Tell them what's really happening.
Based on the inspiring true story.
The NFL has known about the concussion issue for years.
You're going to war with a corporation that owns a day of the week.
This is bigger than they are.
Will Smith.
If I am wrong, I am wrong.
In the best performance of his career.
Nothing can bring you down.
You have to keep going.
We must honor our warriors.
Concussion. Movies start at Channel 125.
Hi, gang. Boogie here. And, well, me. I'm kind of a little guy.
But Boogie in Downers Grove is definitely one of the big guys with a big guy selection.
And little guy personalized service.
Right now, big deals are blooming. Lease a brand new Volkswagen Passat for just $169 a month. That's only $169 a month. Get the Boogie price and save. Giving you the best of both worlds.
For over 25 years.
Buying a new car from Poogie can be a beautiful thing.
Poogie, Poogie.
Looking for a safer way to burn yard waste? Stop. Don't burn in a rusty barrel like this. Burn the safe way with the Burn Cage. It doesn't just burn, it incinerates, leaving nothing behind but fine ash. And when you're done, the Burn Cage folds up neatly for storage.
For a free information kit about the Burn Cage, call 1-800-353-2240. That's 1-800-353-2240. Online at burncage.com.
Remember, there is still time to vote on today's Jimmy John's Freaky Fast poll question. Who does tonight's Game 2 mean more to? The Blues or the Blackhawks? Really shocked that it's down the middle at 50-50. Go to CSNChicago.com. We will have the final results ahead. Tonight on CSN Plus, the White Sox's road trip continues in Florida when they take on the Rays. Hawk and Stoney have the call at the top of the hour. And for the latest, we head to St. Pete and bring in CSNChicago.com's Dan Hayes. Dan, the Sox off to one of their best starts in decades after sweeping a weak Twins team. What is the confidence level right now?
It's high. Matt Latos yesterday was pretty excited after he pitched another gem, and he said, hey, it's outstanding in here right now. Everybody's loose. Everybody wants to win. Everybody's pulling for everybody. that's the way it is right now. I mean, Todd Frazier has not gotten off to the best start offensively, and yet he's the king of confidence with his team. And he's saying, I know this is going to come from me offensively, but you know, he makes a big play yesterday with defensively to keep them out of a big inning. And you know, I mean, I think that's the thing. The White Sox are getting it from everywhere. Jerry Sands the night before with the big home run. Latos with the 2 starts, and you didn't know what you were going to get from him. The bullpen coming up. So I think they like the way that this has gone so far, just finding answers in every possible way.
And you pointed out something excellent, even in just the year-to-year on the players who stayed. Adam Eaton, and the point you made about his line now and what he's slashing year-to-year. What do you think of what he's been able to do, especially when you compare it to this time last year?
Yeah, he's almost 700 points higher on his OPS right now than he was the first 8 games last year. And you know what? Obviously, early numbers, we're going to see guys jump up 30 points and average with a hit, that kind of thing at this point of the season. But for him to do that and get out to a hot start, he put so much pressure on himself last year. You saw it defensively. He had just signed that contract. Now he's about 700 points higher in OPS. He's getting on base consistently, and they're taking advantage of that enough. The offense needs to get better. I mean, they're averaging a little bit under 4 runs a game right now. They need it to be a little higher, but at the same time, they're getting the big hits, timely stuff, and they expect more offense to come.
We're also seeing things carry over from spring training. Avi Garcia, an excellent example of that. 5 home runs for him in his last 3 games. Is he the guy that we saw this spring?
You know, he's coming along. They really wanted to work on pitch recognition with him. He was the 4th worst, or he had the 4th most swings at pitches out of the strike zone last year. He's improved a little bit. He's improved by about 7%, and he's seeing more pitches in the zone. We've seen him start to do some damage with that stuff, and that's what they really were hoping for. They need more from him.
Dan Hayes from the Trop. Get some lights to make sure your box score is well lit. We thank you for the time. And guys, he brings up a lot of good points about just what the White Sox have been able to do. But let's not forget who's on the mound tonight. It is Chris Sale. What do you think of his performance so far this season?
Hey, who doesn't love Chris Sale all the time? You know, I got to say, I'm just so happy that the LaRoche thing with, you know, his son Drake LaRoche, that's all over. Because that was one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen in all of baseball. And Sale, who is feisty beyond belief, went off on Kenny Williams, you know, and obviously it hasn't affected the team, and they've come together, and I like that a lot. And when you watch Chris Sale pitch, this left-handed fireballer who's, all his joints seem connected with bubble gum, you know, and it just, you know, and it's just wonderful. Love it. You can't hit the guy when he's on.
Yeah, I mean, he is one of the 10 best pitchers in baseball. He has been for 3 or 4 years now, pretty much his whole career. The big difference with the White Sox, though, is the bullpen. You know, it's not only has David Robertson been perfect in the save situations, and they keep winning close games, but the setup guys, you know, Nate Jones has been huge, and there's a number of other guys that are just really pitching well to get those leads to Robertson, and that's a big difference.
Matt Albers still has that scoreless consecutive inning streak. It is now up to 28 1/3. That is impressive. And given the career Albers has had, for him to put this consistency together, my goodness.
Yeah, you hate to say it, but in that brawl with the Royals last year, he broke his little finger, and he missed the first half of the season. And it was actually a costly injury that came out of that. Samardzija and Sale were both suspended after that brawl, but the Albers injury in that actually was a setback. And he's a funny pitcher. You talk to people in other places he's been, and they will talk about how well he's pitched for long stretches of times, but he is underwhelming in appearance. Physically, he might remind you of your mailman.
He just looks like a guy, yeah. Some guy.
But he is a really good pitcher, and he's done it before for stretches of time. He's not doing it with mirrors.
Well, I don't know what the statistics say about teams after their ace calls the top baseball ops guy a liar, but I would think that they aren't very good. So the fact that the White Sox have gotten off to a great start, I think, helps put the Adam LaRoche stuff behind them. And some of the other stuff about previous seasons when they've started slow. So I think it was more important for the Sox to start quick than the Cubs, even though people talk about all the expectations associated with the Cubs.
I'm just also impressed at the fact that maybe Todd Frazier's defense, or his offense rather, hasn't been what we thought it would be, but his defense has been excellent. And then other guys are hitting now, I think, because he's simply in that lineup. Melky Cabrera is performing well. You're seeing timely hits out of Abreu. They're hitting to all fields. It's looking like a very promising start.
The throw from foul territory the other night to get the out, that was one of the strongest, most accurate, best throws I've seen from an infielder, and I can't remember when. And you know you're going to have that night in and night out. And when you get guys on the left side of the infield with strong arms, you're going to get a lot of outs you haven't been getting before. And Frazier is going to hit. I don't know if he's going to hit 35 homers like he did last year in Cincinnati. He had a huge first half, not so much of a second half. But he's a productive guy, and I think you're going to have a better Jose Abreu with him behind him. And Eaton, you're right to talk about Eaton. If you go back, it was May 7th last year when he drove in his first run of the season last year. And from then till the end of the year, he was one of the 10 or 15 most productive outfielders in baseball. He was really, really good. To get those stats back to where he likes to say, you look at him, I had a good season. But he was bad when they needed him to be good early, and he helped bury him. But just if he can continue that in front of Abreu and Frazier, that's going to be dynamic.
Well, the Fires could have a record-breaking match tomorrow, and their goalkeeper is a big reason why. Matt Lamson joins us next to talk about his club's shutout streak and the life-threatening disease he overcame to realize his MLS dreams. Stay with us.
Thanks for coming today. I want each of you to grab a 2x8 and cut it. You'll have 2 saws to choose from. You all chose the best tool for the job. Wouldn't it make sense to make the same choice when it comes to your truck? Absolutely. This is the 2016 Chevy Silverado.
Nice.
A good-looking pickup.
Incredible.
I love it.
Find your tag and get a total value of $9,000 on this Silverado Double Cab All-Star. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
Aurelio's Pizza has been a Chicago tradition and family favorite for more than 55 years. To find a location nearest you, visit Aurelio'sPizza.com and then enjoy the game with an Aurelio's Pizza featuring our signature sauce, homemade crust, and the finest ingredients.
Introducing Comcast Business Wi-Fi Pro with next-level speed, coverage, marketing, and control features. Plus, Wi-Fi Pro offers what AT&T's Wi-Fi small site doesn't. Professional installation, advanced security, and millions of hotspots nationwide. Looks like taking your business to the next level starts with ditching AT&T. Give your business an edge with Comcast Business Wi-Fi Pro. Comcast Business, built for business.
For over 90 years, one name means more to car buyers. Grosinger City Toyota.
4 floors of new Toyotas with free valet parking. Get a new RAV4 for $228 a month with no down payment. All in for only $228 per month.
Grosinger City Toyota in Chicago.
Here's Kane now, juking his way to the left corner, shoots in the net, they score! The Hawks win the Stanley Cup! The Hawks win the Stanley Cup for the second time in 4 seasons! The Chicago Blackhawks have won the Stanley Cup! Pass to Keith Heislott, he shoots, what a play, Keith falls over, he scores! Duncan Keith!
You're under a lot of pressure all the time. And the way you release it is with your teammates. You joke around, you laugh, you make fun of them.
Inside Look, Bill Melton, presented by Cadillac, premieres Sunday after White Sox Postgame Live on CSN. Sunday, the Sox set their sights on a series finale win in Tampa. Watch them burn up the base paths and claw their way to victory. Beginning at 11:30 a.m. with White Sox Pregame Live, presented by the Koalas family of dealerships on CSN.
The Chicago Fire are back on the field on Saturday when they host the Impact, and you can see that game on CSN+. Fire pregame live coverage will begin at 3:30, and then it is match time at 4 o'clock, and the club will be looking to set the franchise record for longest shutout streak. So who better to talk to than goalkeeper Matt Lamson, a big reason why they are on this run. Thank you for joining us on Sports Talk Live, and you guys are with 356 minutes now without allowing a goal. It's just 39 minutes shy of the club record. How much, if at all, is that on your minds when you prepare for matches?
I strictly just want to win games, and we've only done that once yet this year. So if we get the streak, I'm not going to be thinking about it during the game. It's certainly a goal. My goal, actually, and the team's goal, we have it written up on the board, is the MLS record, which is 8 games, a little more than 8 games, and we're sitting around 4 games right now. So we're halfway there, but it would be a great record to achieve. I'd be very proud of it. I'd be proud of my guys because I wouldn't be able to do it without them. But I just want to go out there on Saturday and get 3 points, and then we'll have an off weekend.
Matt, you've overcome a lot to get to Major League Soccer. In 2007, diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma, at one point stage 4. What have you overcome to be able to not just be here, but be a successful professional athlete? Yeah,
I mean, it was the hardest part in my life by far, and it certainly made me a better person, and it also made me a better soccer player. Just getting my priorities, realizing what was really important to me in my life, and my true values, and goals. So if I hadn't been at risk of losing my life, I wouldn't be fighting so hard to live it so well right now, and that's why I want to be so successful in the league.
Did you ever think it was over, your playing career?
No, and that's one of the biggest reasons why I think I did so well during treatment, was I just wanted to play soccer again, and maybe not even competitively, just be able to play soccer again. And once I was able to play soccer, I wanted to do more and more and more. And then I went to Ohio State, and everything happened from there. So.
And obviously played with Columbus as well, and it's something that I know you want to give back. So how are you helping people deal with what you've seen yourself? Yeah, so
I have a foundation called the Lamstrong Foundation, and specific to what I had to go through post-cancer treatment, it's very difficult to get back into shape, and you'll never be in pre-cancerous condition, but we offer kids and young adults and adolescents the opportunity to have programs to get fit post-treatment. So that they can, whether they want to play high school basketball or be a professional athlete, we're going to help them do it. So that's a big passion of mine, and hopefully we continue to grow.
That's great stuff. Well, we appreciate you sharing your story. Good luck as well against the Impact. Matt Lamson, thank you for taking the time. And don't forget, the Fire host Montreal on Saturday. That is on CSN Plus. Fire pregame live beginning at 3:30. Then it is match time at 4. And these guys, as you know, don't just want the Fire record. They want the MLS shutout streak record. So let's watch it happen. And the Blackhawks lost Game 1, but they didn't have Duncan Keith. The reigning Conn Smythe winner is back after his suspension tonight. How much of a difference will his return make? Well, we get to ask our blue liner, CSN analyst Steve Conroy, next on Sports Talk Live.
That's the sound of Sirius XM, controlled by the largest touchscreen in its class. This is the sound of someone blowing past the last gas station for over 500 miles. That's the sound of 4 usually rowdy kids enjoying their favorite movie. And together, these are the sounds of a well-executed automotive symphony. During 1 week to deal, get $4,000 combined cash allowance plus $1,000 bonus cash on the 2016 Town & Country.
Let's go. That's pretty sweet. The starting lineup for your Chicago Bulls.
This is the most ridiculous thing that's ever happened in my life.
It's a whole new ball game with MLB Extra Innings on DirecTV.
It is magic.
Experience the ultimate season ticket now at a new lower price.
Unbelievable.
Every punch out, every rundown,
what a play,
and every walk-off. All at your fingertips. And with MLB.TV included, you can watch nearly 100 live games a week on over 400 supported devices. Don't miss a minute of the action. Follow your favorite team on any screen with MLB Extra Innings on DirecTV. Order now.
If your family is complete, the most reliable form of contraception is a vasectomy. The board-certified urologists at Advanced Urology Associates specialize in no-scalpel outpatient procedures. A vasectomy is the most effective form of contraception, so you can enjoy the exact same sexual function. Take advantage of your 2015 health benefits before your deductible and co-insurance reset in 2016. Now is the best time to schedule that procedure you've been putting off. Advanced Urology Associates. Safe, simple, and effective.
A home is where life is lived. The unmistakable beauty and performance of Unilock pavers and walls enrich the quality of outdoor living, where perfect settings and cherished moments become memories that last a lifetime. Live life beautifully with Unilock.
Jimmy John's Freaky Fast poll result time, 64% of you saying tonight's game 2 means more to the Blackhawks. We thank you for voting. Order Jimmy John's sandwich delivery today. Yummy good, freaky fast, and go to jimmyjohns.com.
All right, Cubs and Hawks fans, let me hear you. A 1, a 2, a 3. Jacks.
Jamal Mayers leading the 7th inning stretch at Wrigley, and he also threw out the first pitch.
Whoa.
Not bad form. Not bad form at all. Nicely done. But Steve Conroy in to join us now.
He's bringing the heat.
Yeah, can we talk to you about this first before we get to the playoff stuff? I mean, how do you like the icing, crowd sing type of
I know why he wasn't singing, because when he did start to sing, I think that's why he laid out. But he did a great job. I love the pitch. He said he was nervous before, but like I said, he brought the heat, and he did a great job.
The singing has to take a lot of guts. I mean, you know, you do it bad, it's going to be on your permanent record.
Well, I don't know if anyone's ever done it good when you come to think of it in the 7th inning stretch. But hey, he did a good job, and hey, listen, they had fun. Unfortunately, the Cubs lost, and I guess that's the most important thing.
Yeah, Steve, I got a question about this series, and particularly about Patrick Kane. What an odd season is! What a great season! But the odd way that it started out. Is Patrick now completely focused on the game, on everything the way he seems to be? I mean, with his scoring and the rest of the game.
Oh, I think so. Yeah, I think that's water under the bridge now for him. And yeah, it was a huge distraction, I'm sure, for him, but he certainly didn't let it affect his play. It didn't really seem to affect the team either. And for whatever reason, I think it sharpened his focus. He realized that, I'm just going to, it was maybe his way to get away from it all was to really hyper-focus on hockey, and he just had an unbelievable season, too. And I think the fact that all the charges were dropped and, it was, really nothing came of it, which was, we were certainly glad for. He knew all along. I think that really helped, too.
Steve, obviously the Blues kind of lucked into Game 1 a little bit, but do you think does that give the Hawks confidence, or do you think they still more need to have that sense of urgency, that sort of worry?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think they better worry about it, because you're right, the Blackhawks did luck out, but who's to say that St. Louis doesn't come back with a real strong effort tonight and win by a couple of 3 or 4 goals. This team is very well respected throughout the NHL. The St. Louis Blues, although they had a lucky goal in that last game, and there it is about halfway through the first overtime period, they got some guys who can put the puck in the net. Tarasenko, who who didn't have a particularly good first playoff game, is capable of winning a series by himself. Steen had a real good year. Stasny's a guy who can put the puck in the net. And their back end, Parayko, I thought, played really well for them, 55 on the defense. And maybe their best defenseman was Pietrangelo, and he's a guy who's capable of jumping up. So, you know, that all said, Blackhawks realize how important tonight's game is. They lose it. They've done it before. They've been down 2-0 to this St. Louis Blues team. But I think they could do themselves a huge favor by winning.
They get Duncan Keith back. How much can they appreciate that and yet not rest on the fact that he's also simply returning? Yeah, you certainly don't want to take your foot off the gas. I don't think Duncan will allow that to happen. He's a great leader, you know, and that's why part of the reason he wears the A. He brings so much to the team, whether it's the minutes he logs, you know, power play, penalty kill. And he's just one of the fastest players in the NHL. He can jump up on the play, you know, almost become like a fourth forward out there. And I think that's something the Blackhawks were lacking in that first game against St. Louis. They weren't getting those third and fourth opportunities, or the second and third opportunities against the St. Louis goalie. It was kind of one and done. They had a lot of missed shots. Elliott played a real good game, but with a guy like Duncan Keith, I think he's going to really ratchet up the pace. And as a result, you're going to see those flurries in front of the net where they get the puck to the net, and there's going to be second and third opportunities, and that's where you can score on Elliott.
On that point, Crawford, you know, all the time he missed late in the season, was he tested enough the other night to say that, you know, he's back and he's okay? Or it seemed like certainly late in that game, there was just no penetration, no shots.
Yeah, well, it's funny because the shots were 36, I believe it was 35-16, 35-17, 35-18. So basically the Blackhawks doubled up St. Louis in shots. But if you looked at the chances, and that's what the coaching staff really looks at, or scoring chances. St. Louis had 8, Blackhawks had 9, so that was a lot closer. So when you stop 8 prime scoring opportunities, I think you can declare that you're good to go and you're ready to go. And I thought he was just very calm, cool, and collected throughout. And yeah, he didn't get a lot of shots, but the shots he did face, he wasn't overreacting. Thought he played the puck really well too. Good communication with his defense. Yeah, all in all, a real solid game from Corey.
Curious, what do you see as the key? That's kind of a cliched question, but the difference between being 1-1 and down 2-0, in my mind, is, you know, a little scary. So what is the one thing the Blackhawks really need to do?
Well, you know, I kind of touched on it. They need to get those, you know, Joel Quenneville calls them greasy goals, but you need to get those second and third opportunities in front of the net. There's got to be scrums. You know, I watched some of the LA-San Jose game last night. It was a 5-4 game, and it just seemed like every second goal was one of those goals where there was a shot on net, somebody was getting to a rebound, and they were putting it in, and that wasn't happening in Game 1 against St. Louis. So I think a key for this game, and certainly for the rest of the series, is, you know, shots at Elliott or Allen, whoever it happens to be, but you got to get those second and third opportunities. They weren't getting those chances last game.
Steve, we have about a minute left in the show. Your final thoughts as you get ready for Blackhawks pregame live.
Well, I think it's going to be huge getting Duncan Keith back, but as you mentioned, you know, you don't want to relax. I mean, you've got to ratchet it up a little bit more, and I know the Blackhawks had 35 shots, but you want to pepper Elliott. You want to get this guy doubting himself because, listen, he was a star in that game. He basically won the game for the St. Louis Blues. You don't want a goaltender thinking they've got your number, so make sure you get to him early.
It's going to be a fun one to watch. We thank you for the time. You will see more of him coming up in just a few minutes. That is a wrap for Sports Talk Live, presented by the Chevy Silverado. Next on CSN, we have SportsNet Central, followed by Blackhawks pregame live. Then it is Game 2 between the Blackhawks and Blues at 7. I thank my panel, Phil Rogers, Seth Gruen, Rick Tellender. The pleasure was mine. We've got SportsNet Central coming up.
When you call one, you call them all. During 1 week to deal, get $4,000 combined cash allowance plus $500 bonus cash on the 2016 Grand Caravan.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois has teamed up with the Bulls to move 2 lucky fans closer to the action as part of the Blue Seat Upgrade Experience. Don't forget to bring your Blue Cross and Blue Shield card for your chance to win. Blue Cross, through it all.
At Discount Tire, we'll get you the right tire at the lowest price for your vehicle. Get a $70 Visa prepaid card when you buy any set of 4 Michelin tires.
Choose excitement. Choose action. Choose Hollywood Casinos and you've already won. 2 Chicagoland locations with more of the games you want, more of the generous rewards you deserve, and celebrations that shine all night. That's the kind of star power that can take you places. Hollywood Casino, Aurora, and Joliet. There's no place like Hollywood.
New car shopping can have its ups and downs. But an Arlington Nissan deal is always on the level.
Right now, get 0% APR for 60 months, plus $750 factory cash back on brand new 2016 Altimas.
Better see us before you buy.
Bob Rohrman.
Bob Rohrman's Arlington Nissan, just east of Route 53 on Dundee Road.
I'm Andrew Shaw, and you're watching the home of Blackhawks hockey, Comcast SportsNet.
Blackhawks look to even their first-round playoff series tonight against the Blues. We are leading you up to pregame live at the bottom of the hour with Game 2 coming your way at 7 o'clock right here on Comcast SportsNet. And coming off a sweep of the Twins in Minnesota, the White Sox are about to get underway in St. Pete in the opener of a 3-game weekend series. The first pitch is just moments away on Comcast SportsNet Plus. And with that, we welcome in to SportsNet Central presented by Comcast Business. I'm Chris Bowden. The Hawks caught a tough break in Wednesday's Game 1 overtime loss in St. Louis, but tonight they welcome back their star defenseman. Wall-to-wall coverage from St. Louis is straight ahead. And a week removed from their lone loss of the season so far, the 8-1 Cubs welcome the Rockies to Wrigley. A full post-game report from the north side. It's all on SportsNet Central, and it is on right now.
You're connected to SportsNet Central, presented by Comcast Business.
All Blackhawks hands are on deck with the return of their Conn Smythe Trophy-winning blue liner. As we lead you up to Game 2, the Blackhawks looking to even their series with the Blues. Luke Stuckmeyer has your pregame press pass from St. Louis.
Welcome to Scott Trade Center in St. Louis. The Blackhawks can still get what they were looking for, and of course that is a split here in St. Louis, heading back to Chicago for Game 3. Tonight, they get the return of Duncan Keith, the 2-time Norris Trophy winner, and they think that will be a big boost on both ends of the ice.
I think there's an education in there as well, coming to the game, excited about playing. I don't think that whether they're targeting him or not, I think he knows that discipline is always going to be a key, and knowing that he's probably going to be watched a little tighter is part of it as well, but just play your game.
I don't change my game at all. I mean, I don't base my game on a high stick or anything like that.
You're putting one of the best players in the world back in your lineup, and just his quickness, his speed, his hockey sensing, and there's so many things that he does really well. And offensively, he'll be able to jump up and then help us out off the rush too.
Keith's return should also help the Hawks' power play that went 0 for 5 in Game 1. They need to bury their chances in this game. The Hawks outshot St. Louis 35-18, and they had 8 more high-danger opportunities than the Blues did, according to WarOnIce.com. The Hawks need to use their speed tonight to get their looks.
I think we could have better finish, better patience with the puck, more traffic at the net. But what we gave up, I think that's, we're very pleased in that department, but knowing that we got to be sharper with it.
You've seen it in the past when we're playing that fast game with a lot of pace, coming through the neutral zone with speed, we can really create a lot and open up a lot of space.
And yes, in case you're wondering, Andrew Ladd is already back here in St. Louis. His son, Walker Ladd, was born. Mom and baby doing well, and Ladd ready to go for Game 2. We'll have more coming up in the pregame show in just a bit. For now, we'll send it back to Chicago. Luke Stuckmeyer in St. Louis. Guys, send it back to the studio.
Luke, thanks very much. Time for Built for Business, presented by Comcast Business, and a refresher of just how important Duncan Keith was to the Blackhawks. 3rd Stanley Cup in 6 years last spring. His 21 points, the most by a defenseman in a single postseason in 9 years. That workload, mind-boggling. He put in 92 more minutes of ice time than any other player throughout the playoffs. And, of course, he was the most valuable player of that postseason. Comcast Business, built for business. And back now to the Scott Trade Center, where we are pleased to be joined live by former Blackhawk and the current Hawks WGN radio color commentator, Troy Murray. Troy, good evening. How encouraged were you that the Hawks were able to shut out the Blues for 69 minutes the other night without Duncan Keith and were only beaten on a fluke goal?
They played extremely well, but the bottom line is you got to find ways to win those games, and I know that the Blackhawks were very disappointed that they played an extremely good game in the absence of Duncan Keith. They had great structure in their own end of the ice. They only gave up 18 shots, only 5 quality scoring opportunities to the St. Louis Blues, and not able to put anything behind Brian Elliott, who was the main story for the game for the St. Louis Blues. So tonight, you hope you get the same type of performance in your own end of the ice and find a way to score some offense here tonight.
Speaking of offense, the Hawks have scored a total of 5 goals in the last 4 meetings with the Blues, no more than 2 in any of those. Has St. Louis figured something out to contain the Hawks offense, and how confident are you that, as they usually do, this team will eventually figure out a way to overcome that?
Just moments ago, you heard Joe Quenneville talk about, being a little bit better on the finish side of it, a little bit more traffic around the front of the net. Anytime you get a goaltender that's playing as well as Brian Elliott, you want to take away the sight lines, take away the vision of the goaltender, create those second and third opportunities, and then really be determined in and around the crease area. St. Louis not only has shut down the Blackhawks, but they're one of the top defensive teams overall in the National Hockey League. Down the stretch, they were playing extremely well on their own end of the ice. Ken Hitchcock, the head coach of the Blues, is just one of those guys that really loves to pay attention to details of what the team does with its structure in its own end of the ice. And Blackhawks are going to have to find a way to fight through the traffic in front of the net, find a way to get to the middle of the ice and get off the perimeter as much as possible in this game, but not easy because St. Louis is a good hockey team.
Well, let's revisit the off-day storyline. Hitchcock wants even more physical play from his team, or so he says, and preoccupying themselves with that. Do you agree with Joe Quenneville that it plays right into the Blackhawks' hands?
It's one way or the other. They want to be as physical as possible, and that means taking time and space and the pace of the game away from the Blackhawks. If Patrick Kane's got the puck along the boards and he moves it, finish the check on him, now he's got to start from scratch. That's kind of the main theme that Ken Hitchcock wants to have here, disrupt the flow of the game for the Blackhawks by finishing checks all over the ice. But as Quenneville was talking about, that means that the Blackhawks are controlling the puck most of the time when they're getting hit. So that's a good sign that they were in puck possession for most of that first game here in St. Louis. They got to have the same kind of mental aspect. You saw what happened last year when the Anaheim Ducks tried to run the Blackhawks out of that 7-game series. They're not going to back down, but it is grueling, and you have to have that mindset that you're going to fight through the battles. You're going to have to take a check to make some plays, and that's just the bottom line of what you're going to have to do if you want to beat the Blues.
Troy, I know you're a busy man. Thanks a bunch. Great visiting with you, and have a good broadcast tonight on WGN.
Thanks for having me on, Chris. Much appreciated.
All right, former Blackhawk Troy Murray. It's time for tonight's Twitter question, and we are simply asking, what is the key to a Blackhawks win in Game 2, in your mind? All right, no smarty pants answers of score more goals. Use the hashtag HawksTalk. We'll have some of your answers later in the show. Well, Sun-Times Cubs beat writer Gordon Whitmire meant well, writing today about an overlooked improvement of the 8-1 Cubs. Their defense, after having their issues booting the baseball around a bit last season and overcoming it, Gordon noted they'd committed just 2 errors through the first 9 games, but things on that front got a little rocky against the Rockies in the opener of a weekend set versus Colorado. And before reporting here for Blackhawks Pregame Live, our very own Jamal Mayers was at the confines to throw out the ceremonial first pitch. Nice. I know he was worried about that the other night. This was easily the most pleasant day of the homestand, the first matinee of the season on the north side. Didn't bring results. Kyle Hendricks in a second-inning jam, and Ben Paulson singles up the middle to plate the game's first run. Rockies on the board. We fast forward to the 5th. Hendricks at the plate, looking to even the score. Lays down a bunt attempt on the squeeze, but Paulson finds it quickly in time to get Jorge Soler at home. Then later in the inning, Dexter Fowler with a couple aboard. Chad Bettis gets him to fly out harmlessly to end the threat. Bettis lights out over 6 innings of work. Now the top of the 6th. Rockies threatening again. It's Gerardo Parra shooting one back up the middle against Hendricks. He finished 2 for 5 on the afternoon as Colorado would double its lead. Now to the 7th. Trevor Cahill on in relief of Hendricks. Pinch hitter Brandon Barnes with a man on. First lays down a bunt. Chris Bryant fields it, but is thrown to first well wide. And Tony Walters scores all the way from first to make it 4-0. That was one of 4 Cubs errors on the afternoon to double their previous season total that we mentioned. Top 8. The bleeding continues. Ducks on the pond for Walters. Smacks a high chopper to Anthony Rizzo, but he loses the ball in the throw home. That not ruled in air, but part of a real sloppy afternoon all around for the Northsiders. Maybe it's something about Fridays. The Cubs dropped their second game of the season, and first at home, Colorado takes the series opener 6-1.
We had a bad day. We had a bad day, man, and it's not always going to be an oil painting, and I really believe in the power of 24 hours. So we'll just throw that one in the can, come back out tomorrow and play our normal game.
The pitchers were making their pitch against us. They were painting the corners, and they were playing small ball. I think that we tried the best that we can do. The only thing we can do is just take note of that, put it in our back pocket, and recuperate and perform better next time.
We'll have more from the Cubs clubhouse as Sportsnet Central rolls along. Kelly Crow reports on an afternoon to forget for the Northsiders. Plus, the Hawks lost on what appeared to be a fluke goal on Wednesday night. Steve Conroy joins me to break down how that could have been avoided and his keys to a Hawks win tonight.
Sportsnet Central brought to you by Comcast Business. Comcast Business, built for business.
Introducing Comcast Business Wi-Fi Pro with next-level speed, coverage, marketing, and control features. Plus, Wi-Fi Pro offers what AT&T's Wi-Fi small site doesn't. Professional installation, advanced security, and millions of hotspots nationwide. Looks like taking your business to the next level starts with ditching AT&T. Give your business an edge with Comcast Business Wi-Fi Pro. Comcast Business, built for business.
Do you have past due debt, repossessions, judgments, bad loans, or accidents? Then your credit score could be 400 or less, and good luck getting a decent car or house loan. I'm attorney Peter Francis Geraci. Want to raise your credit score? Then call Geraci Law and get debt-free. After a bankruptcy discharge, your credit score usually goes up.
When you need to be debt-free, call 1-800-CALL-PFG. That's 1-800-CALL-PFG.
The city of Chicago emerged from the ashes, literally, and rose to greatness. And in those fires, a certain toughness, honesty, and work ethic was forged. A straightforward, what you see is what you get attitude. There's no pretense. There's no gray area. There's only black and white. It's time to take the field. It's time to play some ball. It's time to step up.
This isn't a car, it's a Mini. There's a difference. Our wheels are pushed out to the corners. Our iconic design is beyond compare. And our heart is right where it belongs. Donating to Feeding America with each test drive. And giving you $1,000 additional cash off any new Mini. It's the Mini April Invitational, running from the 15th through the 24th.
Many people knew it was in the net.
It's a goal. The Stanley Cup to the Chicago Blackhawks. They battle in the corner. It's Vanessa around for a beat in front. Score! Taves to Bickle. Help to the back. Oh, do your shot deflected. Scramble. They score! 3-2 with less than a minute to go.
It's just really special to experience the end result, but the difficult moments that you went through to get there definitely reminds you how much you have to put in.
Laid one across, and it's Keith the shot save. Rebound. He scores! For the third time in 6 years, the Blackhawks are Stanley Cup champions.
Back on Sportsnet Central as the quest for another cup. Blackhawks hopefully in the early stages of that. Pleased to be joined by the pre- and post-game analyst who was not out at Wrigley Field throwing out first pitches or seeing the 7th inning stretch. Steve Conroy joining us here. Tough way to lose the game in Game 1 the other night in overtime. The defense shut them down for 69 minutes. Yeah. But a tough pill to swallow. And take us a little bit through once again, now that you've had a chance to look at it a little more closely the last couple days, how that game-winning goal occurred.
Yeah, Chris, anytime a goal is scored, there's more than one guy making a mistake out there. And yeah, went off Trevor Van Riemsdyk's skate, but there was probably 3 or 4 other mistakes on this play. Now, Blackhawks, they'd already been out there 30 seconds. They get an opportunity to clear it and really clear it down the ice. And that's Nicholas Hjalmarsson. He's going to skate up, put it hard off the boards, but it's not hard enough. It's not high enough because Andrew Shaw was all the way down the ice, basically at the far blue line. He gets cut off by Gunnarsson. He keeps it in. Now, the Blackhawks are tired. They're getting close to 40 seconds on the ice. Good check here on Steen going to the net now. The puck is coming in very slowly. I think Corey Crawford's got to cover it up here. There's just too many bodies in the vicinity. You got to cover it up. He elects to play it. But that's okay because it goes to an open area. Now, Andrew Shaw thinks he's going to get the puck because it looks like it's coming out here. Gets deflected right at the last second. Goes off the skate of Andrew Shaw. He kind of boots it. It goes right to the St. Louis Blues. I mentioned the time on ice. Now these guys are about 45 seconds on the ice. They're getting tired. They're getting a little sloppy. And here, good play by Steen to cross-check TVR and then kind of go to the side to be an option, but then watch the skate of Trevor. And it gets in the way, unfortunately, of David Backes, who did not have a shot on net the whole game until this pass, which ended up being a shot, which ended up being a game-winning goal. So, you know, the fact that that line had been stuck out there probably about 55 seconds. There was more than one guy making a mistake on the play. That's typically what happens in an overtime goal.
All right, yeah, tough to see the Blackhawks lose that way. They get Duncan Keith back again tonight. Let's go through some of your keys to victory tonight.
Yeah, well, first off, and you know, Joel kind of talked about it yesterday in the media day, not enough traffic in front of Elliott. He wants to see some greasy goals. He wants to get those second and third opportunities where they're getting good looks. They weren't getting those in that first game a couple of nights ago. And then secondly, they want to see D joining the rush. There's a lot of speed back there, of course, with Duncan Keith, but there's other guys capable of doing that. And you just look to this past season, how the D were always a part of the offense. That was Nicholas Hjalmarsson jumping up on the play, feeding Marian Hossa. Great job here by Gustafsson up on the play. He finds Hjalmarsson coming late, almost like a fourth forward out there. And you see it from another angle. That's Gustafsson already inside the blue line. Nicholas Hjalmarsson's going to jump in. Even though there's another defenseman up on the play already, I think Joel Quenneville wants to see a lot more of that. And with Duncan Keith in the lineup, you should see some more of that because he's a fast guy. He's a puck possession guy. He gets a transition game going very quickly, and he joins the rush. So watch for the Chicago Blackhawk forwards to make the blue line, maybe button hook back a little bit and look for the trailer.
All right, Steve Conroy, the trifecta. Sports Talk Live, SportsNet Central will let you get ready for Blackhawks pregame live coming up with Pat and Jamal in just
Thanks,
a couple
Chris.
minutes. Steve Conroy joining us here after a 8-1 start, I should say. The Cubs were due for a bad performance, and from errors to a lack of hits, they struggled in their series opener against the Rockies. Our Kelly Crow reports from the clubhouse.
It's baseball time, and you can score big savings when you shop, click, and save at LexusOfOrland.com, OrlandToyota.com, and LexusOfMerrillville.com. Let the good times roll when you shop the Koalas family of dealerships.
I just saved thousands on my loan at LendingTree.com.
In less than a minute, I found out how much home I can afford.
I like how you shop for loans the same way you shop for flights online.
I didn't realize at LendingTree, you can save money on almost any sort of loan.
I consolidated my credit card debt with a personal loan.
I found a new credit card with 0% interest for 15 months. You just shop, compare, and save. And it's all free.
Go to LendingTree right now and start saving.
From the incredible to the amazing to the...
Right. Listen, I'm in the middle of a commercial. I'll call you back.
Hate this guy.
Beep, boop.
Face off in the ultimate contest of champions. Who's on your team?
Chimichangas!
I admit it. Sometimes I pay for it. We've all got needs. But finding someone who can satisfy without spending too much isn't easy. Luckily, there's a place I can go where I always get a little more for a little less. You're the best, Mr. Sub.
Try a Mr. Submarine value meal today. Order a tasty sub on fresh-baked Toronto bread and add an RC and a bag of Lay's for only $1.99 extra. Dive into deliciousness with Mr. Submarine.
Hi, can you help us with a Tough Shed storage building?
Would you like something like this?
That's perfect.
Cool. Do you guys sell Tough Shed garages too? We sure do, and I can help. Great, thanks.
Legendary Tough Shed quality plus the convenience of the Home Depot. Right now, choose 3 upgrades for free on installed Sundance Series sheds. Plus up to 24 months special financing when you use your Home Depot consumer credit card account.
Welcome back. Colorado came to Wrigley Field hitting .300 with 20 homers in their 5-4 start, but their pitching staff had allowed 15 homers and had an ERA above 7. Those trends reversed down the north side along with the Cubs' solid defensive start. They also played their sloppiest defensive game of the season, and in a contest that featured 14 singles, just 4 by the Cubs, and no extra base hits, Colorado cruised in this one 6-1. Kelly Crow has our Coors Light game reports.
First day game of the year for the Cubs here at Wrigley Field, and while it was sunny and pretty inside the friendly confines, it was an ugly defensive performance from Joe Maddon's club, who racked up 4 errors in their opener against the Rockies, which was 2 more than their first 9 games combined.
We're really good, and you've seen that already. It was a tough day on defense. Obviously, KB had a tough time at third base today. Uncharacteristic, even the one throw by Addison overall was not horrible, but just things that we did just uncharacteristically. We just did not play. We didn't play our game today.
It was a weird game all around. You know, the few errors. I even had a couple that I just felt like my glove had a hole in it or something. It was just a weird game all around. You know, a lot of things happening. So just chalk it up to that. We're fine. You know, we got Jake on the mound tomorrow. I think we'll be okay.
We've been playing some great baseball, and we'll still continue to do that. Today, you know, we just didn't adjust to them playing small ball, and we had a few errors. So if we cut down on that, I think that we have a good shot at winning.
A silver lining for the Cubs, however, in an otherwise sloppy outing, was the performance of Kyle Hendricks, who turned in another quality start, making that 9 for the pitching staff in their first 10 games.
I wouldn't say it's expected, you know, but we put the pressure on ourselves as a staff we want to go deep into ball games. We know what we have in the bullpen, you know, those quality arms, but it's almost a pride thing. You want to go deep in games, and everybody's been doing it, and when you see everybody else doing it, you know, it makes you want to do it even more. So, yeah, I felt good even in that 7th. I still felt strong, so a lot of positives still to take from it.
Covering the Cubs at Wrigley Field, I'm Kelly Crawl for Comcast SportsNet.
Kelly, thank you. Tuesday at 7:30, join CSN Chicago for a special Coors Light viewing party at Cortland's Garage in Arlington Heights. Watch Chicago battle St. Louis on the ice and enjoy ice-cold Coors Light. Great beer equals great responsibility. The Blues of Vladimir Tarasenko and the Blackhawks' Artemi Panarin are on opposite sides in round 1, but the 2 of them have been friends since playing together on the Russian national junior team. Panarin likely to become the 3rd Blackhawk to win the Calder Trophy as Rookie of the Year. But if management had listened to Tarasenko, he would be wearing a Blues sweater tonight.
He told us the day he got here about Panarin. He told us at least once a month about him. I mean, they're best buds. They played together. They played in the World Junior together. They played on lines together. And he talked about him. And, you know, everybody looked and said he's a pretty small guy. And we all look a little dumb right now.
The White Sox are off to their best start in over 30 years. An update from St. Petersburg next on SportsNet Central.
Great time for a shiny floor wax, no? Not if you just put the finishing touches on your latest masterpiece. Timing's important. Comcast Business knows that. That's why you can schedule an installation at a time that works for you, even late at night or on the weekend if that's what you need, because you have enough to worry about. I did not see that coming.
Don't deal with disruptions. Get better internet installed on your schedule. Comcast Business, built for business.
You don't have to go on a treasure hunt to find a great deal on a new Honda. Get the Schaumburg Honda automobiles, but you better hurry.
During the Honda Dream Garage Sales Event, lease the redesigned 2016 Honda Civic Sedan for just $179 a month.
Better see us before you buy.
Bob Rohrman.
Bob Rohrman, Schaumburg Honda Automobiles, just 8 blocks west of the Woodfield Mall on Gulf Road in Schaumburg.
Update your deck or patio with indoor-outdoor carpet by EcoFi at Menards. Pick up 12-foot status in 4 colors, just 33 cents a square foot. Or check out 6-foot Tea Time for only 39 cents a square foot. Store trimmers, mowers, and more in Suncast storage buildings. The 8x10-foot Tremont is made of a durable vinyl that's virtually maintenance-free from roof to floor. Only $899.
Save big money at Menards.
This is Anthony Rizzo, all-star first baseman for the Chicago Cubs. When he's not playing baseball, he's reading about baseball. God, he's so good. When he's not reading about baseball, he's listening to baseball.
Those guys with their cake.
When he's not listening to baseball,
What's up, boys?
he's watching live baseball.
Jonesy. Ooh, that's deep. Ooh.
And when he's not watching live baseball, he's playing baseball. MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball.
At Sport Clips, we're always looking to enhance the sports experience. So we thought, what if we brought the game to you?
Are you ready for your hot towel?
Yeah, hit me with it.
Yeah, me, over here. I think we'll just leave it like it is.
The Sport Clips MVP experience. Great haircut, relaxing shampoo, and legendary hot steam towel. Sport Clips, it's good to be a guy.
That ball hit deep into center field. Stretch, stretch, he looks up, you can. Put it on the board. Yes.
Well, this gives you some sort of an idea just how strong Avi is. White Sox coming off a 3-game sweep of the Twins and took a 6-1 road mark to the Sunshine State, beginning a weekend set against the Tampa Bay Rays on CSN Plus as the White Sox go for their 5th straight win. Top of the first, Jimmy Rollins takes a fastball deep to right, starts the Sox off with a stand-up double off the wall, so they get a man in scoring position right away. And after a Jose Abreu flyout, Todd Frazier rips one down the line, but it goes foul. Dadgummit. And after that, he goes down swinging. The Sox threaten in the first, but can't bring home Rollins. It is scoreless now in the bottom half. Chris Sale going for his 3rd win of the year. Earlier, we asked your keys to a Hawks win in Game 2 against St. Louis via Twitter using the hashtag HawksTalk. Watson says, I told them not to do this, but he went ahead and did it. And we're showing it. Score more goals than the Blues. Simple enough. Katie says, stop blowing the power play. 0 for 5 a couple of nights ago. Thank you for all your responses. And we thank you for watching this edition of SportsNet Central presented by Comcast Business. I'm Chris Bowden. Don't forget, when we're not here doing this, you can stay up to date on all your Chicago sports news around the clock on CSNChicago.com. Blackhawks pregame live is next. And as we showed you earlier, Jamal Mayer's throwing out the first pitch at Wrigley Field this afternoon. And he also sang the 7th inning stretch. Take it away, Jamal.
All right, Cubs and Hawks fans, let me hear you. A 1, a 2, a 3. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks.
At Discount Tire, we'll get you the right tire at the lowest price for your vehicle. Get a $70 Visa prepaid card when you buy any set of 4 Michelin tires.
It's playoff time, and it's time to make your move to Lexus of Orland, Orland Toyota, or Lexus of Merrillville for the selection, prices, and payments that will make you stand up and cheer.
You're always a winner when you shop the Koalas family of dealerships.
Hey, Jack.
When you have a BMO Harris Blackhawks debit MasterCard, it's like the team is always with you.